The year was 2024. The world was on the brink of, well, something. Maybe it was the lingering threat of another global pandemic, or the ever-increasing likelihood that our robot overlords would finally rise up and enslave us all. Whatever it was, the air was thick with anticipation, and then, like a beacon of hope in the darkness, it appeared. The announcement of Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul. This wasn't just any fight, this was a clash of titans. Okay, maybe not titans, more like a chihuahua nipping at the heels of a retired grizzly bear, but still, the hype was real. Could Logan Paul, the underdog of the century, pull off the impossible? The world held its breath. Netflix went all out. They promoted the fight like it was the second coming of, well, Mike Tyson. They spent millions on advertising, plastered Tyson and Paul's faces on every billboard and bus stop from here to Timbuktu. They even convinced Morgan Freeman to narrate a dramatic trailer that made the whole thing look like a cross between Gladiator and Rocky. The stage was set. The fighters were ready. The only question was, could Netflix handle the pressure? Millions of viewers around the world, eager to witness this bizarre spectacle unfold, logged onto their Netflix accounts. The anticipation was palpable. This was it. And then it happened. The dreaded spinning wheel of doom. The buffering. Oh, the buffering. It was like a bad dream, the kind where you're trying to run but your legs are stuck in quicksand. Viewers around the world watched in horror as the fight of the century turned into the buffering debacle of the century. Twitter exploded with a mixture of rage, frustration, and memes. Netflix, meanwhile, seemed completely oblivious to the chaos they had unleashed. Their social media team continued to post cheerful updates about the fight as if nothing was wrong. It was a PR disaster of epic proportions. Minutes ticked by. The spinning wheel of doom continued its relentless rotation. Some viewers, desperate for even a glimpse of the action, resorted to refreshing their browsers every few seconds. Others, their patience wearing thin, began to vent their frustrations on social media. Hashtags like #NetflixDown and #TysonPaulBuffering quickly began to trend worldwide. The irony of the situation was not lost on anyone. Here was Netflix, failing to deliver the one thing that truly mattered: a live boxing match between a retired boxer and a YouTuber. As the minutes turned into an hour and the buffering persisted, the conspiracy theories began to multiply. Some speculated that Mike Tyson, in a fit of pre-fight jitters, had accidentally punched the main Netflix server, knocking it offline. Others blamed Logan Paul, suggesting he had hacked into the system and rigged the stream to buffer every time he took a punch. One particularly imaginative theory posited that the entire fight was a hoax, a carefully orchestrated piece of performance art. Of course, none of these theories held much water. The most likely explanation was far more mundane. Netflix had simply underestimated the demand for the fight. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of buffering screens and angry tweets, Netflix broke their silence. In a statement that was about as enlightening as a fortune cookie, they acknowledged that some users were experiencing technical difficulties. There was no apology, no explanation, no indication of when or even if the stream would be fixed. This only served to further infuriate viewers, who were already on the verge of a collective meltdown. It was a public relations nightmare of epic proportions. So, how did Netflix, the streaming giant that brought us such high-definition gems like Is It Cake and Tiger King, manage to fumble the digital football so spectacularly? The answer, my friends, is a tale as old as time, or at least as old as the internet bandwidth. You see, streaming a live event to millions of people simultaneously requires a lot of bandwidth. Think of it like trying to fit a herd of elephants through a garden hose. It's not going to be pretty. Now, you'd think that a company like Netflix, with its vast resources and army of highly paid engineers, would have this whole bandwidth thing figured out. And you'd be right, they mostly do. But even the best-laid plans of mice and streaming giants can go awry. Especially when you throw in a few unexpected variables, like, say, a global pandemic that has forced millions of people to stay home and binge-watch TV shows. The truth is, nobody could have predicted just how many people would tune in to watch Mike Tyson punch Logan Paul in the face. Rumors began to circulate within the hallowed halls of Netflix HQ. Whispers of a rogue intern left unsupervised in the server room with nothing but a half-eaten box of donuts and a thirst for digital chaos. Legend has it that this intern, let's call him Brad, accidentally tripped over a power cord, causing a chain reaction that plunged the entire Netflix streaming platform into darkness. Or perhaps it was the cleaning lady, bless her heart, who, in a valiant attempt to dust the server racks, inadvertently unplugged the main router. Okay, maybe that's a bit far-fetched, but in the aftermath of the great Netflix buffering debacle of 2024, no theory seemed too outlandish. The truth, as is often the case, was probably far less exciting. Some, however, whispered of more sinister forces at play. Hackers, they murmured. Digital phantoms lurking in the shadows of the internet, their fingers poised over keyboards, ready to unleash chaos. Had a shadowy organization, perhaps funded by a rival streaming service, or a disgruntled group of cable TV executives infiltrated Netflix's systems? Or maybe, just maybe, it was the ghosts in the machine. You know, those digital gremlins that haunt every computer system, those mischievous sprites that delight in causing havoc. We may never know for sure what truly transpired behind the scenes that fateful night. In the end, Netflix, after much hand-wringing and vague apologies, managed to restore the stream, sort of. By the time the fight finally flickered back to life, it was already in the later rounds, and many viewers had already given up and gone to bed. Those who did stick it out were treated to a less than thrilling spectacle. The fight ended, as these things often do, in a whimper rather than a bang. The internet, as you might imagine, did not disappoint. Within minutes of the buffering debacle commencing, the memes began to flow like cheap beer at a college party. Twitter, as it so often does in times of global crisis, became a digital battleground of wit and snark. There were jokes about Mike Tyson punching the internet, memes comparing the fight to a slideshow, and even a few creative souls who managed to set the spinning wheel of doom to music. The hashtag #NetflixDown became a trending topic worldwide. Some speculated that the buffering was a deliberate ploy by Netflix to drive up engagement. Others blamed it on everything from solar flares to alien interference. As the night wore on and the buffering persisted, even celebrities weren't immune to the allure of piling on the digital dogpile. Everyone from comedians to politicians to actual boxers chimed in with their own witty observations and exasperated sighs. "I'd rather watch paint dry than deal with this buffering," tweeted one disgruntled A-lister. "Is it just me? Or is the buffering more entertaining than the actual fight?" quipped another. Even Mike Tyson himself couldn't resist getting in on the action. The whole thing was a masterclass in how to turn a PR disaster into a social media spectacle. The financial pundits, those masters of the universe who speak in a language only they seem to understand, were quick to pronounce doom and gloom upon the house of Netflix. This could be it, they declared. The beginning of the end for the streaming giant. And indeed, for a brief, shining moment, it seemed like the naysayers might be right. Netflix's stock price took a tumble, dipping faster than a sourdough starter left out in the sun. But like a prize fighter who's been knocked down but not out, Netflix rallied. The great Netflix buffering debacle of 2024, while undoubtedly a source of much amusement and frustration, also served as a stark reminder of our dependence on technology and the fragility of the digital world we've built for ourselves. In an age where we can access virtually any information, watch any movie, or connect with anyone in the world with a few taps on a screen, it's easy to forget that it all relies on a complex and often unpredictable network of cables, servers, and algorithms. The next time you find yourself staring at a buffering screen, take a moment to appreciate the miracle of modern technology. And then maybe go outside and touch some grass. You'll be glad you did. And so the dust settled on the Tyson versus Paul fiasco, leaving a trail of digital debris and bewildered viewers in its wake. Life, as it tends to do, went on. Netflix, after issuing a few more carefully worded non-apologies, resumed its regularly scheduled programming of reality shows about people with questionable taste in home decor, and documentaries about unsolved mysteries that probably should have stayed unsolved. The world, having momentarily diverted its attention from the impending robot uprising and the ever-growing pile of laundry, found new things to be outraged by. The Tyson versus Paul fight, once the hottest ticket in town, faded into the annals of internet history, remembered mostly for its technical difficulties rather than its pugilistic prowess. The irony, of course, was that the fight itself, when it finally did grace our screens in all its pixelated glory, was something of a letdown. Tyson, showing his age, seemed content to mostly lumber around the ring, occasionally throwing a punch that looked more like a gentle caress. Paul, perhaps realizing that actually trying to box a former heavyweight champion of the world wasn't the wisest career move, spent most of the fight dodging and weaving, looking more like a contestant on Dancing with the Stars than a professional boxer. Did Netflix learn its lesson? Did this digital debacle force the streaming giant to confront its technological shortcomings and invest in a more robust infrastructure? Did they hire a team of highly trained hamsters to run on tiny wheels, powering their servers with nothing but the sheer force of their collective cuteness? The answer, my friends, is a resounding maybe. Look, let's be honest, Netflix is a business, and businesses are in the business of making money, not necessarily delivering flawless streaming experiences. Sure, they might have thrown a few extra dollars at their IT department just to keep the shareholders happy, and maybe, just maybe, they upgraded their servers from dial-up to broadband, though let's be real, that's probably giving them too much credit. But the fundamental problem remains. Our insatiable appetite for streaming content, our need to consume everything on demand at any time on any device, is pushing the limits of technology, and sometimes, just sometimes, the internet pipes get a little clogged. It's the digital equivalent of trying to flush a dozen potatoes down the toilet. It's not pretty, and it's not going to end well. So what does the future hold for the world of streaming? Will we be forever at the mercy of buffering screens and spinning wheels of doom? Will our children grow up in a world where the only constant is the pixelated face of their favorite YouTuber, frozen in time like a digital portrait of Dorian Gray? The answer, my friends, is, well, I don't have a crystal ball, but if I had to hazard a guess, I'd say that the future of streaming is both exciting and terrifying. On the one hand, we're on the cusp of a technological revolution with faster internet speeds, smarter devices, and more immersive entertainment experiences than ever before. We'll be able to watch live events from around the world in stunning 8K resolution with no lag, no buffering, and no need to ever leave the comfort of our couch-shaped hovercrafts. But on the other hand, this brave new world of streaming comes at a cost. Our digital lives are becoming increasingly intertwined with our real lives, to the point where it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. We're constantly bombarded with information, notifications, and updates, all vying for our attention, all threatening to overwhelm us. And in this digital deluge, it's easy to lose sight of the things that truly matter: human connection, real-world experiences, and the simple pleasure of watching a boxing match without having to refresh your browser every 5 seconds. So the next time you find yourself staring at a buffering screen, take a deep breath, count to 10, and remember this. It's just a TV show, or a boxing match, or a cat video. The world won't end if you miss a few seconds of the action. In fact, you might even enjoy it more if you take a break from the digital onslaught and step away from the screen for a few minutes. Go for a walk, read a book, talk to a real human being. They're the ones without the pixelated faces. And when you come back, hopefully refreshed and re-energized, maybe, just maybe, the stream will have finally loaded. And if not, well, there's always popcorn, lots and lots of popcorn. Because let's face it, In the streaming wars, the only true winners are the snack companies.